Alright, this is officially part 1 of rebuilding this 218 in line 6. So in one of my last videos, it wasn't running, if you saw that one, and we tried to diagnose it. We couldn't diagnose it, so we got a compression tester. So I'm going to test the compression real quick, and then that'll tell us if they're even, if they're not even, what's the deal going on there, and potentially if we need to rebuild it or not. Alright, and then to put this compression tester in, just take your spark plug out, which I've already done. And you're going to want to get your compression tester right here. And then that should just screw into the hole. Alright, and then once you have it screwed in, just make sure it's tight. And then go crank on your engine, and ideally this should be up in the hundreds. From about 100 to 175 is probably good, especially on these old engines. So I'm gonna go crank on the engine and I'll get back to you. Alright, so this cylinder here, if you can't see, that's about 85 to 90, which definitely isn't ideal. You probably want around 110. Alright, so I went, checked the compression and all the cylinders, and I was just curious, and I put some oil, like 30 weight oil in this cylinder, and it did go up to, from the 90 or whatever we were getting, to around 130, which is good and bad. I'll tell you why after, but this one was 130, 175, around 110. These ones were under 100, which is definitely not good. You want them to be consistent, and so I put oil on all of them. It was about the same, whatever. And if your compression goes up, if you put 30 weight oil or Marvel Mystery Oil in there or whatever, then that means there's a gap in between your piston wall and your rings, and that oil is filling that gap. So that means your rings or your piston walls are worn down, and so that's not really a good thing. And maybe go try to start your car, and if it does start, that's good, but it's not a permanent fix. So your engine probably needs a rebuild. So unfortunately, I've messed, 2 weeks it's been, I've taken off the carb, messed with that, taken that off 3 times, new distributor parts, new ignition coil, new spark plug wires. I don't know, nothing's working. So unfortunately, I think this engine, after 120 to 150,000 miles, is gonna need a rebuild, which is pretty good because these inline sixes, if you got over 100,000 miles back in the day, you were doing great. So to get 150,000 out of this one, that's awesome. And so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get piston rings, a gasket kit, and that'll be probably around $300. And it's probably good anyway because this, the head gasket on this and the rings on this are needed to be replaced anyway because it was blowing smoke out the tailpipe when it was running. So I already knew it was kind of needing to be done this winter, but I was hoping it wouldn't need to be this early. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. So I think we'll take this hood off, and we will take all the accessories. Lucky that it's just the generator, the fan, water pump, radiator, carburetor. It's not too much compared to my Camaro that I just rebuilt. It's very simple. This should be literally, hopefully, a week to rebuild. And one more thing before I end the video, I think this was about 3 days ago, I did end up taking off the oil filter, and there was like brass metal like chunks in it. So here's just a little video of some of that metal shavings in the oil filter. You can see the metallic, like shiny pieces. That's all metal, and that could be normal wear and tear, but I'm not exactly sure, so that could be another sign this engine does need to rebuild. Which I didn't think too much of because I thought it could have just been, since we restored it, it could have just been rings, because on this, the oiler rings are brass. Could have been those breaking free, and that just, because we've only done 2 oil changes since we got this running last year or sometime, so I didn't think much of it. But now, since it's not running, it could be something with lifters or something more that metal shavings are in there for some reason. So just thinking about that now, definitely probably better to do a proper rebuild. Yes, it's unfortunate. I wish it would just run, but unfortunately things don't go as planned always. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get the engine hoist and engine stand from my grandpa's, and then hopefully sometime this week we'll be able to pull the engine. I'll be able to rebuild it, and hopefully my Christmas break, it ends on the Tuesday the 5th or the 6th, I can't remember. And hopefully I'll be able to have it rebuilt, put back in, and running nice before then. Thanks for watching, and I will definitely keep you updated. I'll probably do multiple videos on this. Hopefully 3 or 4 days is all I need to rebuild it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.